lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone.
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 Whoa. Welcome back into the Rowdy Studio. I'm Stephen Levine. Tom Vandervoort is in the pink shirt.
Yes, I am.
I'm in the blue shirt.
Yes, you are.
And we're here to talk about Talladega Superspeedway, not Spooper Speedway.
Well, it can be pretty spooky, especially if you're in the middle of that big pack, which is exactly where a lot of guys are going to be on.
Like that.
I mean, we saw a two-car draft last year, and we're not going to see it this year because of the rule package.
We're going to see it.
We're not. It's not going to spread the field out the way it has. It may be the winning move.
At the end of the race, we're going to see it. And you know what? Our winning move? Bring in Steve Letarte to talk about Talladega.
Nice move.
Thank you. Talking a little bit about Talladega Superspeedway, a place that Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s had a little bit of success in the past.
Yeah, you would think I know a lot about it, but really I've been able to just work with some great guys, right? I've had Jeff Gordon as a driver and Dale Earnhardt Jr. as a driver. So you can imagine every time I go through the tunnel at Talladega, there's a big smile on my face. It's a great place. It's a one-of-a-kind place. You stand on top of the truck at Talladega, it takes your breath away, how big it is, how fast the cars move. The fans are great. The racing's great. I mean, it's like an iconic race in the sport. If you don't go to Talladega, I mean, I don't think you've experienced everything yet. You have to go down there one time and just see how crazy those races are.
You don't really need grip there, though, right?
No,
you don't need grip. So what do you do besides a strategy?
What I do is make a car that can go absolutely as fast as possible from point A to point B, and
it's all about speed.
It's all about speed.
Just get out of the way.
Downforce has nothing to do with it. It's all about drag. It's all about horsepower. And not only do we have Dale Jr. behind the wheel, we have Hendrick engines. We sat on every speedway pole last year. We started 1 through 4 there in the spring race when Jimmy won. You know, that's the kind of place that. You know, we have 500 employees at Hendrick Motorsports, and that's the kind of place that come to Talladega qualifying, they can showcase their talent because it's not about grip. It's not about driving style. It's not about handling. It's about who can build the fastest race car.
And it's Jimmy's turn to push Junior, right?
Absolutely. Hey, we joked the other day here at Hendrick, you know, we're at 199. Everyone wants to win 200 for Mr. Hendrick.
Yeah.
I know the fans down there love Dale Jr. I tell you, it would be a special moment to have that be our breakthrough win.
I know you guys work together, crew chiefs, drivers, when you approach a track, but I have to think that those pre-race meetings sort of take a different tone when you're approaching a Talladega or a Daytona. Is there really that much more cooperation across teams?
It's very hard, and from a crew chief, it's difficult. We try to leave it in the driver's hand because while it looks like a video game and you can pretend all this stuff, the only ones who really knows what happens on the racetrack are the drivers. Yeah. So they have to have a gentleman's understanding, and at the end they need to be able to defend their actions to their other driver. And you know what? Someone's going to leave Talladega unhappy. That's just how it is. It can only be one winner.
Probably more than one guy.
Probably more than one guy. So the goal is to just not make it your guy.
So I do think we're going to see a big pack of race cars here. And if you think back to the Chase race last year, the last Talladega race, two-car draft all over the place, tons of wrecks. And if those wrecks had happened with a big pack, I would like to say we'd have had 5 big ones, but with all the cars being eliminated, the blast of those wouldn't have been that big.
Right, but the two-car draft does propagate wrecks.
That's the other side of it.
So if you don't have that as much, you won't have as many wrecks.
Exactly. So I've kind of got mixed feelings about whether or not we're going to have a ton of wrecks here, because when you're in a big pack and you're not banging up against the guy constantly, you're not going to cause as many guys to spin out, which is what we saw in the fall.
If you didn't get lined up just so, you were going to send that guy spinning.
Exactly. And with the big pack, we're not going to see as much of that. But when they do lose control,
they'll be in a big pack.
They'll be in a big pack, which means a lot of guys are going to get taken out.
So I agree with you. I think the big one is back.
I think the big one is probably going to be back at some point or two in this race. And so one of the things you have to do is figure out how to avoid that. And riding in the back has been a strategy some people have used. Doesn't seem to work that well. Running up front is a strategy some people have used. Works a little better if you can stay there, but you can't really stay there.
No.
So
I don't think there's any way to avoid it.
It's the luck of the draw is what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure that your karmic debt has all been paid up before you hit Talladega. That's your best strategy going in.
And let's be clear about something. Track position for most of this race doesn't matter, right? If you're in the back halfway through the race,
who cares?
It doesn't matter.
If you're in the back with 20 laps to go, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't hinder your chances to get a good finish. So the idea that you would risk anything to pick up a position midway through the race, just don't do that. And that's why I wonder if maybe we're going to see some fairly cautious driving for a lot of this race. Maybe see a wreck early like we saw at Daytona, big stretch of green in the middle, and then a bunch of wrecks at the end when guys really do feel they have something to gain by making some
I think
moves.
that is what you're going to see, because remember, this is our first time back to Talladega since the rules package changed previously before the Daytona 500. So they're going to have to feel this out for a while. Now, we just heard Steve Letarte talk about how strong the Hendrick guys were last season. It certainly seems like Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson have to be favorites going into this race.
Well, I would really go back and start looking at the Fords, because I remember, and you should too, I assume, how well they ran at Daytona. So I think their plate package for Greg Biffle, for Matt Kenseth, and the rest of the Fords is going to be pretty strong.
The rest of the Fords, you mean Carl Edwards?
Oh, yeah, him. Well, I don't remember guys who don't win races. I mean, you know, just kidding, Carl. I'm just kidding. Carl should be good. But I really like Biffle, and I really like Daytona 500 winner Matt Kenseth here. And don't forget, Clinton Boyer in the last 3 Talladega races has gone 1-2-1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good record.
But let's also...
And Tony Stewart is a guy you got to look at.
Let's also acknowledge that some weird first-time winner can come out of nowhere and find victory at Talladega. Perhaps more than in any other racetrack, this track is a place where a Brad Keselowski could win, where a Regan Smith could almost win, where you're going to get some strange and unusual...
But there are some guys who just know how to work the draft. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I think Matt Kenseth's actually pretty good at it.
Here's a head-scratcher for you. You know who's got the best average finish?
Mike Bliss.
No. Well, after Brendan gone, but he's only run 2 races. You know who's next?
Who?
Joey Logano. 4 top 10s in 6 Talladega starts. Do I think he's going to win this race?
No.
No, but...
I like Kevin Harvick on plate tracks.
Yeah.
Who are you going to go with?
You're going to make me pick?
Yeah, make a pick.
I'll go with Dale Jr. Why not? It's Talladega. He's won here 5 times. He's back, being the Dale Jr. of old. I think he could get it done here, and it's Jimmy's turn to push him.
I like the Fords. I like Greg Biffle.
Well, there you go.
All right, that's our look at Talladega. For Stephen Levine, I'm Tom Vandervoort. We'll see you next time.